On behalf of my co-authors, thank you so much for the opportunity to present and to participate virtually. Dr. Becker has received advisory honoraria from ViiV Healthcare. Other co-authors have no disclosures. HIV incidence among adolescent girls and young women in South Africa remains concerningly high, 3 to 7 per 100 person years. Preventing HIV infection among young people can avoid a lifetime of HIV infection and associated health issues and costs. Long-acting injectable cabotegravir, or CAB-LA, is far more effective compared to tenofovir emtricitabine, or TDF-FTC, for HIV PrEP among cisgender women in sub-Saharan Africa. One key barrier, however, to implementing CAB-LA is its anticipated high cost. In this analysis, we asked how much should we be willing to pay for the improved efficacy of CAB-LA over daily oral TDF-FTC PrEP among adolescent girls and young women in South Africa. Our objective was to identify how much CAB-LA could cost while remaining cost-effective. We examined 2 strategies among adolescent girls and young women ages 15 to 30 in South Africa: daily oral TDF-FTC and injectable CAB-LA. Using the cost-effectiveness of preventing AIDS complications, or CPAC model, we simulated a population of cisgender adolescent girls and young women with characteristics similar to those who would enroll in FAST PrEP. FAST PrEP is an ongoing adaptive adolescent-focused study employing PrEP products at different venues in a district in Cape Town, South Africa. We used an approach similar to a prior analysis comparing CAB-LA and TDF-FTC in a US setting. We modeled 2 cohorts without HIV at model start: a primary cohort of cisgender adolescent girls and young women and a cisgender male cohort. Results were scaled to a population of 10,000 adolescent girls and young women to approximate a district size. Model outcomes included averted HIV transmissions, life years, costs, and incremental cost-effectiveness ratios, dividing the difference in costs by the difference in life years. We considered benefits over a 10-year horizon with a 3% discount rate for the primary results we'll show. We focus on an outcome called the maximum price premium, which is the price difference between CAB-LA and TDF-FTC. And there's no single accepted willingness to pay threshold. So for the primary results, we use the threshold of 50% of South Africa's per capita GDP, 3,500 per life year, which has been used as an acceptable return on investment in South Africa. And then we vary this threshold widely in sensitivity analyses. We calculated the maximum price premium at which CAB-LA compared to TDF-FTC would have an ICER below 3,500 per life year. So if the maximum price premium is lower, then we would be willing to pay less for CAB-LA. But if it's higher, we would be willing to pay more for CAB-LA. Key model inputs included a mean age of 26 years, 660 primary transmissions over the 10-year horizon cumulatively, no PrEP HIV incidence of 3.2 per 100 person years, and on-PrEP incidence for TDF-FTC of 1.9 per 100 person years, and far lower for CAB-LA, 0.2 per 100 person years. 2-year PrEP program retention was 88% for TDF-FTC and 85% for CAB-LA. And for the primary analyses, we modeled annual drug prices in blue for TDF-FTC of $40 and twice that for CAB-LA, $80 USD. We modeled higher annual program costs for CAB-LA compared to TDF-FTC, $21 versus $12, to reflect higher costs associated with administering injections. HIV-related care costs annually ranged from $230 to $1,800. Antiretroviral therapy costs annually ranged from $50 to $890 annually. Turning now to the results. Over the 10-year modeled horizon, incident infections among adolescent girls and young women were higher for TDF-FTC, 1,980, compared to CAB-LA, 1,080. Averted HIV infections led to 150 more life years for CAB-LA compared to TDF-FTC. Total costs for TDF-FTC were $6.6 million and were higher for CAB-LA, $7.1 million. The ICER of CAB-LA versus TDF-FTC at that price fell just below the $3,500 per life year threshold. And at this willingness to pay threshold, the maximum price premium of CAB-LA would be $40 compared to the price of oral TDF-FTC, or an absolute price of $80 annually. When we include the additional benefits that might accrue to cisgender male partners without HIV, the maximum price premium of CAB-LA would be $51 compared to the price of oral TDF-FTC, or an absolute price of $91 annually. So this figure is a sensitivity analysis on PrEP drug price for TDF-FTC and CAB-LA, as well as willingness to pay thresholds. And the vertical axis shows annual drug price of TDF-FTC from $0 to $180. The horizontal axis shows annual drug price of CAB-LA from $0 to $200. The dashed line shows the base case TDF-FTC drug price at $40. The solid line, the CAB-LA base case drug price at $80. And this dark blue area indicates where CAB-LA would be cost saving. Light blue, where the ICER would be less than 50% per capita GDP. Yellow, 51% to 100% per capita GDP. And orange, where the ICER exceeds the per capita GDP and would not be cost effective. The intersection of the dotted and solid lines shows the base case result for TDF-FTC price of $40 and CAB-LA price of $80. And at this point, CAB-LA would be in the light blue zone and would be cost effective, like the table we just saw. This black square shows the maximum price premium for the combined cohort results. If CAB-LA price was $91, then CAB-LA would fall just below the willingness to pay threshold for a maximum price premium of $51 above TDF-FTC. However, if CAB-LA was priced somewhat lower, $76, then CAB-LA would actually be cost saving with a price difference of $36. This analysis has important limitations. Transmissions attributable to this group are uncertain, particularly over time. And if HIV incidence and transmissions are lower, we would be willing to pay less for CAB-LA. We did not capture potentially averted transmissions of HIV from perinatal transmission, which would increase how much we would be willing to pay. In conclusion, for CAB-LA to be cost-effective compared to TDF-FTC in adolescent girls and young women in South Africa, it would have to be priced at no more than twice the cost of daily TDF-FTC. To improve outcomes, access, and equity for adolescent girls and young women at risk for HIV in South Africa, CAB-LA should be made available at prices within this range. I'd like to acknowledge our funders. Thank you.